What's up, everybody? It's been a while since we talked Star Wars here on the channel, but there's been major rumblings lately as the rumor is that Ewan McGregor is back for Ahsoka Season 2, but there's been conflicting reports about it. Let's dive in. Before I get too deep into my explanation of what's going on here, I just want to make sure it's clear this is not me scooping anything, confirming any news. This is just what I think is going down. And also, a quick side note because I went back and watched Ahsoka episode 5 from season 1 before this video, and god damn was Dave cooking there. Everything from Anakin's footsteps being as heavy as Vader's, Anakin cutting Ahsoka down into the Clone Wars stuff in the world between worlds, and even just Jason Syndulla hearing the master and apprentice fighting through that portal in the water. It's just peak Filoni. But getting back to what we're here to talk about today, Obi Wan Kenobi's return and how he'll appear in season 2, because again, I do very much believe he will appear. We've got to look back at the 3 Clone Wars moments from season 1, episode 5. After that, I've got the 6 Clone Wars arcs where the big 3 appear together, so I'll wrap the video up today with some speculation on what we're going to see in live action. The first Clone Wars moment that Filoni gave us in Season 1 was, fittingly, one of Ahsoka's first missions in the war, the Battle of Teth. I remember when I was doing breakdowns for the show, like what, a year and a half ago now, people wanted to argue that it was Ryloth too, that both of these were Ryloth, but it was always so obvious to me that the slight change in the volume, it's very minimal, but there is a purple haze to Teth, which we of course saw in the Clone Wars movie, and it's a good jumping in point with young Ahsoka realizing that something's wrong, and Hayden getting to do some animated Anakin stuff with the dash block move right off the bat. It was the second Clone Wars moment that I truly loved, though, because it dives into her bond with the clones as we travel to Ryloth. This could have been, the big invasion and liberation that we see in Season 1 of the Clone Wars, very possible, where we got the Anakin and Ahsoka, the Obi-Wan, and the Mace Windu episodes carrying out their missions, but it really could have been any mission during the war. Ryloth saw basically never-ending war once the Clone Wars began. But that bond she had with the clones that this highlights was so important because it's such a simple thing to us, the audience, but it's what separates her from most Jedi, that among many other things. It's something that her, Anakin, Obi-Wan to an extent, and Plo Koon truly valued, and I mean, there's other Jedi, of course, but that's kind of the Mount Rushmore to me of caring about clones, and of course, Plo, he brought her to the temple, so it's very fitting that she falls in line with that. On top of that, this moment specifically highlighted the Jedi's dirty laundry, and to be fair, all 3 of these moments did, it's just this one it kind of stood out the most as they rip infants away from their families and turn them into peacekeepers and now soldiers. Ariana Greenblatt, the young actress who portrayed Ahsoka in these flashbacks, helped portray that brilliantly, and I just hope that this is kind of the moment out of the 3 Clone Wars things that Dave remembers the most, because as much as I love all 3 of them and getting to see Hayden in the armor and everything, this one definitely stands tall over the other 2. Then the final moment we saw took us to the Siege of Mandalore, a battle that Anakin was of course absent for since he was off saving his pal Palpatine, but it was Maul's trap for Anakin to ruin Palpatine's grand plan, so it was there for him, and it was her final test before she's essentially reborn as Ahsoka the White. She's neither Jedi nor Sith, but simply one with the Force, as we see her in the Star Wars Rebels epilogue when she picks up Sabine. So with all that in mind, what will Ewan get to do in Season 2? You can say, oh, Star Wars rumors are always fake, which is actually true, because Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni are much better at keeping things under wraps than, say, Feige and Gunn are over at Marvel and DC, but this is one of those things where scoopers will come out and spread this as a rumor and an exclusive scoop, and I'm just kind of like, well, yeah, no duh. For one, Hayden doesn't get to have all the fun. I mean, he came back in Ahsoka, he got to wear Anakin's armor, he got to be, Revenge of the Sith, late Clone Wars Anakin again, he got to be Vader Anakin, Vader out of the suit Anakin, I mean, and he came back and was the best part of Ewan's show too. So, Ewan deserves this, man, but you've also got to remember that Dave Filoni is as much a fan as we are, especially with these 3 characters that he did so much with in the Clone Wars, and so he's not going to pass up the chance to get them back together in live action. The first of the 6 chances to do so comes from the Onderon arc later on in the animated series. Ahsoka's training and assisting the rebels there, so I could see it working in the show as she trains Sabine some more in Peridia, but this one it doesn't necessarily feel like a good fit because Anakin and Obi-Wan, they do dip pretty early in that arc. However, I think there's a strong possibility that we do see the Citadel in live action because, I mean, that's a huge arc for Ahsoka. Not only joining that mission to the Jedi prison against orders, but then she takes on Master Peel's responsibilities with the Nexus route Goobly Glob in that episode. But it also leads into the final arc of that season where she's kidnapped by the Trandoshans and then hunted with those other Padawans. So here, I'm thinking maybe we could see like the gunship ride after they escape the Citadel. That would kind of be in line with what we got of the Clone Wars stuff in Ahsoka Season 1, where Dave gives us unfamiliar moments from familiar missions. Then another one we could see is the Big Three's mission to Kadavo and the Slave Arc in the Clone Wars. To be completely honest here, I'm not sure how this would necessarily fit into the narrative of Ahsoka Season 2, other than the fact that they're trapped in Peridia, but it's one of the arcs with Anakin, Ahsoka, and Obi-Wan together in the Clone Wars, so who knows? But another one I do feel decently confident in saying will appear is the second Battle of Geonosis, and that is partially because it's easy for the volume to work with. I mean, I joked about Teth and Ryloth looking the same earlier, but they really do look the same in Ahsoka Season 1, so they can just do the same for Geonosis. It's also just a major battle for Ahsoka, though, with her side quest with Barriss afterward and the undead Republic cruiser, so this one feels like a good spot to kind of throw us into it like Dave did with the Teth moment in Season 1. Then I've got another one where I'm not quite sure how this would fit into Ahsoka Season 2, other than the fact that it would bring Natalie Portman back for a couple minutes of Padme, and that's the Blue Shadow virus arc. Maybe there's a great connection there that I'm missing out on, and in all seriousness, if you think it could fit into Season 2, please, by all means, explain down in the comments below, but it's just kind of another arc from the show where Anakin, Ahsoka, and Obi-Wan, the big three, are all together. Finally, the one that you probably thought I forgot about, but how could I? Because we all know that we're going to see this in the second season of Ahsoka, and hey, I was just saving the best for last. Mortis. Not only has Dave come out and said that we will in fact be diving into more with the Mortis gods in Ahsoka Season 2, but we saw them at the end of Season 1 with Balin standing on the statue or the mountain, whatever, of them. So at the very least, I'm going to say with confidence, with 100% confidence, Ewan McGregor will get to go to Mortis. And so that's going to do it for today's video. I do hope this pans out. I hope that Ewan gets to return to Obi Wan Kenobi properly with Dave Filoni behind the camera before he ages out of the role, but let me know what you want to see from Ahsoka Season 2 down in the comments below and make sure you have a great day.